Hey everyone, Sam Matler from Passive Productive here, and this is our part one, in our multi-part guide to Asana with GTD. Now, if you don't know what GTD is, and you probably will anyway, it's a book by David Allen, and it stands for Getting Things Done. I'll leave a link to it in the description and in the blog post. It's a great book, actually. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to. And I've noticed that a lot of people have adopted the principles and used them with Evernote, which I just got sitting here. Now, there's nothing wrong with Evernote itself, but when it comes to GTD, I think it's incredibly inefficient, mainly because of the interface and the way it works. It's a note-taking application, not really a task managing application. And for that reason, I changed to Asana not too long ago, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it. It works absolutely great. And before I start getting into the actual video, I have to say that I have a cold and it's absolutely killing me. So sorry for my voice. I'll probably cough a fair bit. Anyway, I don't want to waste your time. So, when you reach the Asana homepage, you'll be greeted with this page. I'm just going to enter your email. I'll just put in a temporary one for the purpose of this tutorial. Stick that in. Wait for the email. Once you've got the email, you're just going to obviously open it, complete sign up, and you'll reach this page here. There's a video here. You can watch it if you want. I'm going to explain some of the stuff anyway. Stick in your name, password, Asana is a team management application. Except we're going to use it for ourselves, so you don't actually need to worry about this. It is helpful though. If you run a business, I would look into using Asana for that also. And your team's name, I'm just going to put in me. Theme, I really don't know what this is. It seems new. We're just going to stick with business, as boring as it is, but feel free to pick what you want. So you're presented with this sort of blank looking workspace or template kind of thing. So I'll just run through it really quick. You've got my tasks, which is, the way I see it, it's basically like an inbox. It's where your tasks appear. It's where you have tasks for today, upcoming tasks, maybe tomorrow, and later tasks. So we'll get into that when we make our projects. Next thing is inbox. Now, this is only really important if you're part of a team and someone assigns you a task or comments on one of your tasks. So we don't have to worry about that too much. The main thing we're looking at today is projects. So we've got a number of projects that I use, and you should probably use as well. If you want to get the most out of Asana and GTD. So the first one is at home. And before I start going through this, I have to say that projects, they're not really being used as projects. I know in GTD, especially with Evernote, there's not really any folders for specific projects. You use tags instead. And you can use tags in Asana, but I actually find this is much quicker and more efficient. So we've got at home, and there's basically tasks that you do at home. If you work at home, it's not work-related stuff. It's purely household tasks such as housework, washing dishes. We'll do wash dishes, hang out washing, that kind of thing. Now you'll notice that if we go back to my tasks, that they don't actually appear there. And that's because we haven't assigned it to ourselves. So we have to do that, which is a little bit of a pain. I wish it would happen automatically, but it doesn't. Now, in your task, you can do quite a lot of things. First of all, up here, you've got a due date. If you click on the star, it'll assign it to today. Next, you've got subtasks, which are basically tasking themselves. You know, you wouldn't really do it for washing dishes. It's a bit pedantic. But for example, turn on tap. You put the plug in first, obviously. That kind of thing, dry, whatever. And then you can put stuff in the description. You know how it is. And then you've got tags. Now, I'm not going to be discussing tags in this video, but we'll definitely get into it. Other than that, you've got an attachment. You can attach files and tab. That support, that only really is important for team stuff. You can comment on subtasks. It gets quite detailed for some things, and also commenting are really good for teams, but you can also comment on your own tasks, especially if they're things that take a while. So that's that, and you'll see that they appear here now. And once they're in here, in your new tasks, again, I explained this as an inbox, you can assign them, mark them for today, upcoming, or later. And that sort of applies to GTD a bit. You've got the today tag and the next. So you can mark it for today, upcoming. It's really organized, and I don't know, that's just why I love using it. So I'll create a few more projects here. We're just going to make one called errands, which are things you have to do outside of your house. For example, buy milk, pay John back. And you have to pay John back, it's just a name. Again, you have to assign these to yourself. Next, we've got agendas. This one isn't too important because you would put meetings and events on your calendar anyway. But I actually like to have it just in here to keep things in place. Business meeting. The reason why I suggest you put this in your calendar is because you can't give it an actual time. You can give it a due date, but not a time. So that's something to note. Calls, self-explanatory. Call John about whatever. Again, assign to yourself. Next, you've got someday / maybe. Now, this one's pretty important. It is, it's things that you want to do, but aren't vitally important to your main goals. If you set goals, if you don't, then set them. So for me, it would be something like read 30 minutes of psychology book or paper or whatever. It's not vitally important to what I want to do in life, but I find it interesting. And this is something you'll look at in your weekly review, which I'll probably do a post on. I would not assign this to myself because I don't want it in my main field of view here. It's someday maybe, so you visit it when you have nothing else to do, basically. Now, other than that, we've got projects list. Actually, no, small tasks. We'll do that first. So small tasks are just single tasks that don't apply to any of these. They have to be done. For example, clean email inbox. And you would assign that to yourself, of course. And that's a simple task. You don't really need to put anything in here. It's simple. You know how to do it. Next, we've got projects list. Now, I have to do a bit of explaining here. So I know in Evernote, a GTD project is just a task. No, a project is something that takes more than one task to complete, which I follow. That's a great thing. But for me, a project is something that is not ongoing. For example, it might take a week or two. So for an example, it could be write two articles for website. And that would be it. It wouldn't be an ongoing thing. But again, it takes more than one task to complete, sorry. You know, you got to edit, draft, that kind of thing. That sort of project does. And there's just a couple more. No. Well, it depends. If you don't work at home, obviously you're going to have one called at work, but you can make a new workspace for that. Again, it's up to you. So maybe at work. Now I've got two more. One's called passive productive, and that's where all my blog stuff goes. Every single thing. I don't put it into here. I put it into here because passive productive is ongoing. It's not a temporary thing. And that's the same with music production. Wow. Yep. And if you have anything like that, if you're on a website or you have an ongoing hobby or project, make a single project section for it. Don't put it under projects list. It'll just get messy. So for now, what I want you to do is just put in your tasks and then go into my tasks here and assign them all accordingly. I don't actually have to do any of these, but you know, just upcoming, later, that kind of thing. So in the next part, we'll probably cover, actually I'm not too sure, we'll probably go into priority headings and linking tasks, and then we'll cover tags. So I'll see you then.